Hello, everyone. Every month we bring very special guests. This month we have invited Natasha as our guest. She is heading a SPIC MACAY chapter for North America. Let's talk to her what transpired her and what is really SPIC MACAY and what is her vision for the future, and especially talking about creation. Natasha, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Sanjiv, for having me. So glad to be here. I would love to talk about SPIC MACAY. SPIC MACAY is essentially Society for Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture amongst the youth. And what we really aim to do is make sure we keep the magic of our Indian classical music, arts, and dance form alive, which is dying because we have a lot of interest and happiness towards Western culture, but at the same time, we want to make sure we don't lose our roots. So we do a lot of concerts with maestros in everywhere from small schools in India to large universities like Stanford in North America. And I'm more or less involved in leading the North America efforts across US and Canada for us.
That's awesome. So, Natasha, now you are heading the North America chapter, and it's 300 million plus people. And we are spoiled with Hollywood, and we have Bollywood too. So, where do you see organization like SPIC MACAY is going to play a role, and how you see it is going to unfold for a country like America? Or what is your vision?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like a lot of inspiration also lies in the past. So we have deep roots. We are here for like 35 plus years in North America, with people like Sunil Malhotraji, Rao Rohitji, starting up the chapter with Kiranji. And so now we have around 15 to 20 chapters, including some of the major Ivy League universities in North America. So I feel like for us, it's a movement. It's not political. It is, not for profit, but it's very organically led. And one of the great things right now in North America is a lot of the kids who grow up here, actually, their parents are training them in Indian classical music and dance and art forms. And so they have like a lot more, that gives so much patience and contentment. But also at the same time, these kids, when they come to undergrad, they're starting their own chapters. They're doing jam sessions for classical music like people do for hip hop and pop. So I feel like that's a very cool way it is evolving. And in the future, I think SPIC MACAY has a long way to go in terms of where all we can reach out to different cities within North America, engage individuals, whether they're like senior and they're entrepreneurs and may have their extra time on the side, or whether they're working in a university. So I do feel there is a lot to evolve, but I think the three great things SPIC MACAY taught me are, patience, contentment, and still, having that humility with individuals who are so, like Hariprasad Chaurasiaji and Shiv Kumar Sharmaji, who are so well off in what they do, but they're so down to earth.
You are living in West for so long time. So, are you yourself classically trained musician or dancer, or what makes you take such a critical role and such a difficult role? Actually, it's not an easy role.
So that's a great question. I did want to be trained. So when I was little, my mom wanted to train me in Indian classical dance. It somehow never happened. She didn't find the right person. And when I watched Indian classical music on TV, we had Doordarshan back in the day, and it was not fun, right? The way it sounded. So very interestingly, I spent a lot of time in Delhi, and I attended one of the SPIC MACAY concerts there with Pandit Rajan Sajan Mishraji live. And it was so amazing. Like I was really, really awestruck and touched. And that's when I started joining, like this was 20 plus years ago. So I joined SPIC MACAY, then I went to IIT Guwahati, started the chapter there, then in Northeast India, and then came over to US and kind of stayed with SPIC MACAY.
Wow, that's so amazing. So let's talk a little bit about since you are in a very creative space and you are very engaged with the creative aspect of it, and we are all engineers. So, is there any correlation between math and the music? I hear it all the time.
I uh, I do believe that there is a correlation between math and music, although it's like the left brain and the right brain, right? So it is like music is all about notes and how you add them and how you put them together and not, right? Like, and quite a bit of what I think Kiran sir calls it's like having that freedom within Bandhan, right? So like there's a restriction, but then there is a freedom and how you play around and fit the same equation in some ways. And so I've seen a lot of mathematicians actually not just very well trained in Indian classical forms, but also in piano here in the West. So somehow I feel like our minds are connected, but not everybody, it's not for everybody, both sides, but for some people.
Einstein was a great musician. So is one of our great alum, Prithvi Banerjee, is an amazing sitar player. So it's fascinating. So, technology is changing. Now, when I was growing up, even mobile phone was it wasn't even there. And I saw how the mobile phone become reality. And now we are having this conversation over a video and it doesn't even feel like you are not here. We are feeling like we are in person. So what do you think is the future of entertainment or future of such kind of creative outlets?
That's an excellent conversation point, Sanjeev ji, right? And I feel like as we keep evolving, music, entertainment, movies, whatever you call it, right, is becoming so decentralized in some ways and so individually focused. Like we have all the influencers now, so it is no longer up to large institutions to promote somebody who has real talent, but it becomes so much spread out that everybody has the power to do that. So I feel like technology is really giving that power to individuals to spread out their creativity and put themselves out there, and really for all of us to access their wonderful minds and creativity as well.
No, no, I definitely understand that. Especially YouTube has completely changed the video aspect of the dynamics around the video content distribution. And so is Spotify's of the world is changing everything. But I was really thinking more from real world and kind of a virtual world, I'll call it, because it's not a artificial world. It's still some form of reality is there. What do you
Very
see as a
true.
difference, and where do you see? It seems to me it's like it's merging, and it's becoming like almost like a real virtual experience kind of initiatives going on. What do you think about that?
Yeah. That is a great thought point. I've thought about it too, especially as we get into faster and faster technologies with 5G and eventually 6G maybe a decade later.
I don't think we
I
need
feel
that,
like
but that's okay.
no, I feel like it's having being in virtual reality, right? Like the ability for me to maybe put on a headset and feel I'm sitting with somebody either who's like a big maestro or somebody who's an influencer who can create their own music and really experience it as if it's live. You just said, right? Like it feels like we're live even though we're on video. So that same thing, I feel is going to be amazing. The ability to attend maybe so many concerts, anytime, any day, anywhere, and really immerse ourselves in more of like a 4D kind of an experience. That would be amazing. But I feel like there's still a little bit more of technology work to evolve, both on the audio side, video side, internet speeds. But we're definitely getting there.
Interest. I just jokingly, when you were talking, I was visualizing. It'll be fascinating that you go and watch the Taylor Swift show. You are in the stadium or arena, and we are all wearing the headset, and then you are having
Yes.
that experience of like the people around you, the dancing going on and the yelling going on, maybe some fights going on. That is also part of that experience, don't you think so?
Very true. That is. And then also I feel I don't know, like back in the day in New York several years ago, they used to have these silent dance parties where you can put your own music set and then
Hmm.
everybody can dance to their own music. So I feel both like having that live concert experience, but at the same time having that, your own experience in a big setting too, right?
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Interesting. So from here, where do you see our
Yeah,
world is going when it comes to entertainment?
that's a very tough question, right? I wish I had the crystal ball. Uh, but I do believe it's going to be very, very individual focused versus institutional driven in entertainment. And it's also going to perhaps be, again, like I'll say the same thing, right? Influencers, very, very influencer driven, where we are having our own mini communities within big communities. And that's where our tastes and everything gets matched. It's like having the Netflix, but at a very, very micro level. And then having so many tastes in that palette that everybody can go to what they want versus saying, hey, there are only three things that we can do. So I feel it's going to evolve in variety. It's going to evolve in content and the types of things that we can do and experience. And that also with less time, right? I don't need to sit in my car anymore and drive 1 hour to a concert and stand 1 hour for tickets online. But as you said, right, we can do it all live.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a student of life, I will say, and I'm always looking and learning these new tags and new way people are communicating and collaborating. And I was just thinking is, especially in the world of AI and ML, and where we are saying is people can create content, people can create even videos using some of these content, they can have avatar, create all that. So how is it going to change the way whole entertainment world is going to play out? But we will figure it out, I'm sure, eventually. But the big question for you really is, because you are not using art as entertainment, you are using art as creative collaboration and even creating a more of a better place for humanity. So can you talk a little bit more about that, how using art you create world as a better place? Because what I see is, especially the classical music or classical art, is not just a classical art or a dance form. It just brings you and create a very innovative and safe space as a community to
Yes, that is true. Very true.
express. It's more like self-expression.
And especially like you see in jugalbandis, right? When there are jugalbandis and you have three individuals, maestros, performing on different instruments, they're all in tandem with each other. So they are very closely collaborating. And like that mathematical equation, right? Where they're going to go up and down, but then they're going to stay within that constraint of that musical equation.
Yeah.
So very, very true. We do have a lot of collaboration within Indian classical music. And to promote that, what we even do is sometimes we have these interesting jam sessions where we have individuals performing, let's say, a classical dance. Someone is playing on a classical music instrument. There's another person who is singing, and there is somebody else who is like drawing at the same time. So it is an amazing feeling of bringing the community together, but really feeling all those different levels and variations of art. And that is like, I would say like it's very peaceful. It's like imbibes a lot of patience, brings a lot of contentment while we still have a lot of aspiration. So it is so difficult to describe, but I think you're right. So collaborative in nature that it really pushes us to different boundaries.
So being an engineer, I have a theory, and I believe that with the technological advancement, things are really changing and evolving. And our world is shrinking, actually, not expanding, it's shrinking. We are far more connected than we used to be. And we are far more becoming, at the same time, tribal, where we create our own clan, which is the wrong word, we create our own tribe. And art form, and especially these classical art form, plays a major role. Because we are, as a group, you are very expressive, you are really into it, and it creates a very safe place. So the point I'm trying to make it is using art to create a better community. And that's, I believe, is the mission of Kiranji, that when he talks about it, he says, I want to use art so we create world as a better place.
No, absolutely. That is so much in point. And we see that also in smaller groups, right? Where these communities evolve, what we call as chapters, right? Within a university or place. We see that evolution and we see people coming together and so beautifully, working together, becoming friends for life. And I have made many of those wonderful friends, somebody who's running a theater company today, somebody who is like really leading an MD in a bank. And so from all walks of life, but very, very beautiful collaboration and bringing together of community.
Yeah, you should do one event in Las Vegas, open a chapter in UNLV. I just joined their board, so it'll be fun.
That would be amazing. I think we should do that. We do need to open more and more chapters. We want to engage our Indian diaspora more because everybody wants to be engaged. Sometimes they don't know how, and sometimes they just need a way of reaching out. So
definitely. Natasha, I'm just having this is a great conversation. I love to chat with you. How do we create and we expand this self-expression word and connect people better? Do you have any parting thoughts for our audience?
I think my parting thoughts would be please get more engaged with us. My email ID is sodhi, sodhi.natasha@gmail.com. So if you'd love to give us some time, if you'd love to know more about Speak McKay or just chat, I would love to hear from you. And that's it. And thank you so much, Sanjeev ji, for having me on your show.
Absolutely, Natasha. So for all our fans, Natasha is leading North America chapter for SPIC MACAY. It's a brilliant organization. Kurenji founded it. But the big reason I got involved is really I'm fascinated with how music connects people, how a dance form connects people. And these connections are not really apparent. And the kind of connection you made with people and the connection you make with yourself is not just about connecting with the people or community, it's connecting with yourself. It's absolutely brilliant. You must find where is your tribe, look for the tribe you want. I'm sure you will find, if not with SPICMACAY, other organization, they're doing amazing, amazing work. Once again, Natasha, thank you so much for being our show.
Thank you, Sanjeev ji. Have a lovely rest of your day.